You're a fund, all right? You just got a bunch of money. You bought Bitcoin. Now what are you gonna do?
Now what am I gonna do? More importantly, what are the other funds are gonna do?
Everyone needs to use that Bitcoin to generate even more Bitcoin, more wealth, and show people that this is useful. So, Bitcoin DeFi. Something we've been looking in this channel is for big opportunities, those trillion-dollar opportunities, because we know money comes when things change. Now, what we know for a fact right now is Bitcoin has taken off. Same goes with Ethereum. Right now, I see a huge hole in this market where only a few $1 million are going, but trillions can move in very soon. And that opportunity is with decentralized finance on Bitcoin. Early 2020, when we first heard about decentralized finance, just very little money flowing in. We saw the structure and the foundation being set, but people were very cautious. But what happened after that was a gigantic hockey stick that sent DeFi from mere millions to hundreds of billions. But what's not really taking off is decentralized finance on Bitcoin. So today what we're taking a look at is one of the oldest running DeFi smart contract layers on Bitcoin, which is Rootstock. And Rootstock, they've been doing this for years. They've been actually doing merge mining. They've been building this relationship with miners, with the Bitcoin community, by saying, hey, you can do a little bit more with Bitcoin. All right?
Look what Ethereum is doing.
Yeah, look what Ethereum is doing. They're printing money. Why don't we do the same? Right? So today we're going to take a deep dive into Rootstock, what the ecosystem is doing, how their merge mining works, how the newest upgrades really empower that ecosystem to empower this drive, to empower this send into the trillions. So guys, stay tuned. Pay attention to the small details in here because there's a lot of structure that's already been built and you really need to pay attention to know what's going on and how to capture on this opportunity. So here's the problem right now. So right now, the Bitcoin BTC Fi market is really sitting at $307 million. So people have tried it. It's testing, it's a playground, right? But what we're seeing is immense growth. There's almost a 2,000% growth in Bitcoin Fi in 2024. But honestly, I think this is just mere nothing. You cannot even categorize that amount of growth this was.
Yeah, hundreds of billions.
Hundreds of billions of dollars. There's a huge pressure to do so because all these funds that are storing Bitcoin, right, they can't just simply hold Bitcoin. They really need to do something with it, and then they really need to show that value. So where does Rootstock fit in? So Rootstock is not Bitcoin. It's really a side chain for Bitcoin. So it's like side chain, like Ron's a side chain of Boxmining. Just joking. Bad joke. But it runs parallel to Bitcoin and can move Bitcoin value into Rootstock. If I'm Bitcoin and the Bitcoin network doesn't really do that much other than, send things back and forth, I can transfer that funds to Ron, who is a side chain, and he can do all the DeFi.
Yes.
Yeah, so what can you do? Like lending?
Yeah, leverage trading.
It's the first thing on your mind?
Yes, with risk management, anything can be possible. The growth will be gradual. And speaking of growth, that's what Rootstock has been doing throughout the past years. Mizari published a research report on the state of Rootstock in Q2. And as you can see, their quarter-on-quarter metrics has been going up gradually. Their daily active addresses is up 65.3%. And what's even more significant is we can see new addresses coming in and interacting with Rootstock DeFi. This is showing fast adoption acceleration. And most of these newcomers are from other ecosystems. You have Solve, Layer Bank, Midas. These are projects that we've interacted with for the past year for incentive programs. And you also have the Golden Sats campaign directly incentivizing users to use Rootstock DeFi. Then you also see DeFi TVL rising 9.8% to $235 million of TVL, with Uniswap's share expanding from $7 million to $35 million. Now that might not sound a lot, but look at the growth of Rootstock over the past 3 years. You can see since mid-2023, the TVL numbers has been going up steadily, gradually. This is the kind of healthy surge you want to see in the DeFi ecosystem, right? And look where we're at now. We're at $267 million of TVL in Rootstock. And I think the most overlooked element here is the merge mining participation number. You can see it reached an all-time high, averaging 87.1%. Why is this such a big deal? Because if you have a number that high, it shows really high security alignment among Bitcoin sidechains. It means Rootstock inherits more Bitcoin hash power than any other competitors, providing Bitcoin native finality while maintaining full EVM compatibility. And if you're an institutional fund looking to deploy Bitcoin for DeFi, you want to see those numbers present.
Right, exactly. So right now, because Bitcoin is super limited in what it can do in terms of smart contract functionality, there's only really 21 serious operations you can do in Bitcoin. Expanding that to a full Ethereum style Turing complete system really makes a lot of sense.
Hundreds more of utilities. Yeah.
Exactly. You just can't build it. So that's kind of what they've done. So Rootstock, they've been operating since 2018. They've been gaining that trust to kind of build this network. They had the foresight to see that this was coming.
Yeah.
I mean, see.
Even before the 2021 DeFi boom.
Exactly. Like, that's how much foresight these guys had. They saw DeFi was coming. They knew that Ethereum could power DeFi, and they built the entire structure for that. So what's kind of interesting is that you can actually move Bitcoin between Bitcoin layer and Rootstock layer. And then from Rootstock layer, you can move that to the rest of Ethereum's DeFi through layer 0. So it's kind of like the bridge for Bitcoin into decentralized finance. The bridge itself is through a POG-PEG bridge. So we talked about this a little bit before in our previous video. It's a little bit complicated, but we'll look at this in depth here. One of the simplest ways is using something like POG-PEG. You can directly connect up your Bitcoin wallet and get your RBTC. So you bridge between Bitcoin and RBTC. So say for something like this, you go very closely, you can link up your MetaMask, connect it up here, all right, and confirm. And then you can use your ledger. Say for example, you have a ledger or a Trezor wallet, you can link that up and you can directly transfer your Bitcoin or bridge your Bitcoin from Bitcoin network to the Rootstock network. On top of this, of course, in terms of the tech that's already solid, but there's a huge upgrade coming called Lava and Read, which will actually reduce gas fees, they'll make faster confirmations, and they essentially make quality of life easier.
So one thing I've been doing recently is using Sovereign Alpha. This is one of the many integrated DEXs that Rootstock has to offer. Now, you can use the POG-PEG bridge, but I think that's more for larger transfers. If you have small sats where you just want to transfer maybe like $100 or maybe even like $500 worth of Bitcoin over to Rootstock to use in DeFi, Sovereign, or also known as Fast BTC, is much better because the transfer speed is around 10 minutes compared to POG-PEG, which is hours. And what's great about this is you can directly connect with a MetaMask wallet. You just need to configure the RSK chain in your MetaMask. And you can receive RBTC for Bitcoin and vice versa on their platform right here. The full article guide will be down in the description below. What I've been doing most of the time, like with every other DeFi protocol, is just using their leverage trading feature. So on Sovereign Alpha, I go to margin. It allows me to use RBTC as collateral, offering up to 5x leverage for leverage trading of BTC. Don't be scared of leverage because if you have risk management, you know where your invalidation point is, where your stop loss is. You're only risking 1 to 2%. That's normally what I do. And by trading on-chain here on Rootstock DeFi, I can contribute more towards the Golden Sats campaign or any other airdrop campaign that can be live in the Rootstock ecosystem. Honestly, this should not be overlooked. Lower gas fees and faster confirmations, especially for DeFi activities.
Yeah, we saw that in DeFi in 2020. Basically, Ethereum broke 2021, 2020. It got very expensive to send transactions about. That explosion really occurred overnight. So I feel like what's they're doing, they had the foresight to do was really to just see what was the problems last time and then kind of fix it for this full run. So this run will see this huge emergence of Bitcoin finance. And something to highlight here as well is that they've been doing protocol updates for a long time already. So if you actually want to learn a little bit more in detail how these upgrade works and what the functionalities of these, there's really a good website. We'll link that down below. They detail all the technological upgrades. So they, instead of like BIPs, like Bitcoin Improvement Protocols, they have RSKIPs, right? Rootstock Improvement Protocols. And then there's details about what they're trying to do. And I think browsing through this, my personal opinion was like, oh, wow, they've been operating for a really long time. And they're very, very detailed in what upgrades they have in terms of technical implementation. So I think this is what kind of gives Rootstock an edge, is that they've been upgrading, they've been kind of securing the network for a long time. The biggest worry, I think, with when we play DeFi or something like that is the risk of your coins getting lost or hacks to bridges. So this is where I think their expertise comes in, right? They've been upgrading and maintaining and having that relationship with the miners to kind of constantly improve the RSK protocol, upgrading it to a point that the bridge is secure so that Bitcoin can be brought like large amounts, right?
Yeah,
at this
one Bitcoin is already large.
Exactly. In terms of current stats, when we did our research, there were figures from 2024 and 2025, but basically this network is protected by 80% of Bitcoin's hash rate. So because of that, they're essentially having the security of the Bitcoin network right now to secure just millions of dollars. But we already know that Bitcoin can secure trillions of dollars, $2 trillion. So it's the same hash power that secures Bitcoin. Because of the dual mining possibility, it also secures the whole network for Rootstock. As an update as well in terms of what they have now. So they have around a daily bridge volume of 700K and a DEX volume of 300K. When you look at these figures, it's not really about what's happening now, but what the potential can be. By the time DeFi exploded, everyone's like, oh shit, Boxmining is like the number one in DeFi, holy shit. I think I see the same situation with Rootstock here. Rootstock, the opportunity, the facts are there where Bitcoin itself grew astronomically. Ethereum grew astronomically. There needs to be a place where these two big camps play together. And I think that's the core of what this video was really about. The core of this opportunity is about
a change in the wind, you say?
Yes, the change the wind is coming to merge these two public chains to become one very powerful entity. And I think that's kind of the core gist of it. And I think that's why you guys really need to study what's happening here. We'll leave all the materials down below, and then you guys can check it out as well.
So how you can get involved in the Rootstock ecosystem right now is through the Golden Sats campaign. You know, test it out. There's a bunch of activities. Their ongoing season is live. What you can do is you can just bridge a couple of Bitcoin, maybe even a couple of other
Bitcoin, yeah.
couple of Bitcoin.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I want to bridge a couple of Bitcoin too.
I mean, couple of sats. Couple of sats.
Anything you want.
Anything
It doesn't have to be a full Bitcoin.
Via Jumper, or you can lend and borrow a couple of sats on Avalon. And by doing so, you can be eligible for rewards of up to $198,000 worth of APY pool, NFT prizes, and the RFI airdrops, which we previously talked about in the Boxmining video 6 months ago.
Yeah, and I think it's the whole point here is to get in a little bit early. So what we knew about farming for DeFi was planting the seeds early, right? Like I was farming the Wi-Fi pool before it was even launched. And when Wi-Fi token launched, it was like,
yeah,
right? So getting your foothold in, getting that evidence that you're using and you're bridging and you're knowledgeable about this, that is when the community gets built, and that's when you become a founding member of that community.
Exactly.
So get in early, guys. So participate here. We'll actually link an article for how to participate as well down below as well.
Yes.
And lastly, I do want to talk about this. So this whole entire ecosystem is about, well, at the center of it is Rootstock. So Rootstock kind of combines everything here. So what we talked about with the RBTC, which is the programmable BTC that moves across chains, we talked about how you can use that with layer 0, combine that and kind of spread that across all the other Ethereum-based ecosystems here. And then, of course, you can use SushiSwap, Sovereign, the entire ecosystem is pretty much open to you, and it kind of centers around Rootstock, again, the RIF token.
Yes.
That's quite a mouthful. Not the easiest thing to say.
How is it?
The RIF token.
The RIF token.
The RIF token.
Now, let's do an analysis of the RIF token, which is the native utility token of Rootstock. Let's take a look at the on-chain first before the technical analysis. So far, RIF shows healthy distribution with 19,000 holders and 100% circulating supply. So there's no unlock risk, which is good. 530,000 historical transfers indicate active usage, while Q2 2025 mark recovery with 65% growth TVL. So you can see the quarter-on-quarter metrics that Mizari reported supports the on-chain activity of DeFi within Rootstock. Moreover, among the 19,000 holders, the holder concentration is low. There's no single address that dominates supply. The ones that do hold most of the token supply belong to smart contracts and centralized exchanges. The biggest developments with the RIF token with the Lovell upgrade, essentially improving RIF contract efficiency and the layer 0 integration. So you can bridge RIF directly to Ethereum, to Base, to more DeFi opportunities. And not to mention 60% fee reduction, making RIF transactions even cheaper. Most of the TVL numbers of RIF are on Money on Chain and Sovereign, which we've previously talked about, and Uniswap. That's 400% quarter-on-quarter growth in liquidity for the RIF token. Now, all of this suggests that there's no further large dump pressure for RIF. And in terms of the chart, we are literally at the bottom. You can see price right now is at 0.06. Now, you might be thinking, is this worth buying? But based on my trading system, you can never guess direction. It's more about trading where you are in the range. So it's very clear. We're looking at the weekly chart for the RIF token. And you can see just drawing from the weekly swing high to the weekly swing low, we are below the 50% level, which means anything here is a buy. Anything above 50% is a sell. You also have to be aware of the microstructure. There's another swing low that happened since December 2024, where the midpoint would be around these areas. So still, we're in the buy zone for this microstructure. Now remember, this is not financial advice. I'm only telling you how I have been playing around with the RIF token. So for RIF token, I simply buy them on spot, and then I would lend them out on Sovereign as well as liquidity pool in Uniswap for the fees and take small profits there. And I've been accumulating for the past few weeks, and I know where my invalidation point is below the swing low. So if we see RIF dumping below this swing low right here, so if RIF goes below 0.03, then that's where I will cut my loss. So it's just plain and simple. You don't need to overcomplicate anything. But yes, looking at the microstructure since April 2025, we've been on an uptrend. We've taken out this lower high, which means on the weekly market structure, we are on an uptrend.
Honestly, guys, this is really the next push. Bitcoin DeFi, there's just so much money on Bitcoin, and right now I honestly think the TVL here is really low, and it's poised to have much more uptake as this institutional adoption of Bitcoin DeFi moves on.
I agree, because institutions are acquiring a lot of Bitcoin.
And they need to use it.
The next step is, what products can we make out of all of these Bitcoin holdings we have?
Right? Exactly. So we put all the links down below if you guys want to research further. Obviously, we have some research reports and documents as well that you can actually read through. So check out the links down below. There's also that season to farm.
Yes, sir.
So if you want something actionable, farm that now. And with that, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. See you next one.
Ciao now.